Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Say Less Basketball Podcast. You are currently listening to episode 15. Hope you're doing well wherever and whenever you are listening to this. And we have plenty of NBA topics for you to hear about this week. Warm welcome to the guest this week, good friend of the podcast, Prince. Welcome to this week's episode. Appreciate having you on, sir.
No problem.
Yes, sir.
Write this down.
These topics today, we got Westbrook better than AI, top 5 regular seasons ever, the Nets back-to-back losses against the Bucks, LeBron health concerns, and as always, going to end with a bold take. Bold takes of the week. The player versus player debate is kind of this Westbrook, Allen Iverson thing. So first off, let's just talk about Allen Iverson and Westbrook. So recently there was a debate between Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, and Kendrick Perkins. They debated whether Russell Westbrook had a better career so far or will have a better career than Allen Iverson. Kendrick Perkins argued that Russ is better than Allen Iverson, and Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith had very strong arguments against this. But let's hear your thoughts on this. Is Westbrook versus AI, who's better? Who's got a better career? Who's better overall, I guess, too? Let's just hear these opinions. Let's just get this, because there's some strong opinions about this, I know. So here we go.
All right, well, let the Westbrook superfan go first.
All right.
Me personally, as a player in general, Westbrook is a better player. But career-wise, I would say Westbrook too, because he had a long career. And Iverson didn't really, towards the end of his career, he didn't want to come off the bench, so that kind of messed up his minutes and stuff. So he kind of ended his own career himself. He could have lasted way longer than he should. And Westbrook, I think he's honestly a better shooter than Allen Iverson. Iverson is more of a volume shooter, but he's probably a better team leader, I should say, or he can lead a team better than Russell Westbrook. But all the stats, Westbrook is better stat-wise. But if you want to play to lead you to a championship, I'll take AI. And if you look at AI's, when he went to the finals, he had no help whatsoever. During the season, the second highest scorer on the team is Dikembe Mutombo. He averaged 11 points a game. And there was other players that was averaging 11. And the second, he was averaging 31 points a game, Allen Iverson. He literally led the team. So that's all I can say. And Westbrook's best season was 2016, 17. But I would say, to me, honestly, his best season probably 2015, 16, to be honest, playoff-wise, because except for game 6 and 7 against the Warriors.
Yeah, 2 picks.
Fair enough. So who's better?
Yeah.
So is Westbrook better?
Yeah, I'll say Westbrook is better than Allen Iverson.
Okay.
Actually,
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well.
Career-wise.
Yes. Okay. Good point.
Okay. We've had a trend on this podcast, obviously, with player debates, and I've always taken a two-way player. Career-wise, individually, I've always taken a two-way player. Or at least I've always admitted the two-way player is better. In this case, Westbrook is the two-way player in this debate. The only thing knocking him, like Prince said, is just leadership. He is a good leader. It's just that the whole Iverson, what he did with the 01 76ers, gives him a bigger argument. But numbers-wise, Westbrook's better. Longevity, Westbrook's better. Like Prince said, after maybe 2 seasons with the Nuggets, he kind of fell off with the Nuggets, then got traded to the Grizzlies. And then And then he played the Pistons, and then he came back 1 year for Philadelphia, and then he retired. Longevity-wise, Westbrook has been better every single year, or just in total, I guess. But like I said, Iverson's 01 season, just his scoring ability and just the way he just, was a grit and grind type player. I know Westbrook is too, but AI was, one of those influential, big time stars. But I mean, if you talk about all time point guards, like me, I've said before, I consider AI as a shooting guard, not a point guard. But if you want to put point guard for Allen Iverson, all time, I might have to put Westbrook over him. I might have to. So that's my 2 cents.
Wow. Okay. Interesting, Will.
Okay. Well,
There you go.
it's something like this is this kind of stuff always comes up when Kendrick Perkins is around, right?
He's an idiot.
Something like crazy like this is always said with him. I don't think Westbrook is better than AI as of right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say. They've almost played the same amount of seasons at this point. I think Westbrook is one less at this point in his career. But you said Westbrook's the more two-way player. I just want to point out AI has led the league in steals 3 times.
Okay, but he was a good off the ball type defender. Like he could predict when the ball's coming to him, or he could cut it between two
LeBron's
players.
the same way, and he's been on all NBA first teams.
Curry's the same way because Curry, led the league in steals with his MVP career.
Yeah, and I'm saying LeBron's been on all NBA first teams or defensive first teams.
LeBron's a good on-ball defender, though. I'm just saying Iverson and Curry are off-ball defenders.
Yeah.
So
Harden also better
Okay.
than
Well, yeah, that's true, and I won't even argue with that on Harden. Westbrook is he's won 2 scoring champs and two assist champs. I believe about to be 3. Is he gonna get it? Yeah, he will get it this year.
He's like 2.
I believe AI has won 4 scoring titles, which I think is second most or third most all time. It's tied with Durant.
Yeah.
So that's something to say. The other thing is AI. We've talked about this before. He played over 40 minutes a game. He averaged over 40 minutes a game, and then the playoffs he averaged 45 minutes a game, which is insane.
That's ridiculous.
Insane. Here's the other part. Has AI played with one player even close to as good as Kevin Durant in the same stratosphere? How about Paul George? How about James Harden? How about Bradley Beal?
I mean, he did play with Carmelo when you go down the list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. I actually was gonna say Carmelo, but I was like, they both played.
But that's just one guy,
and Carmelo was a freak of nature at that point
Carmelo
in
was
his career. Yeah,
prime Denver.
Was AI really prime him at that point?
No.
So hard to say.
I mean, honestly, it was only like a couple years. It was like what 2008.
Yeah, it was only 2 years that they were actually a good duo.
Yeah. So my take on this is right now, I don't think Westbrook has had the better career yet. He's gonna play way more, so maybe he will. If he wins a championship, I'd say that might solidify him as better. But he's got to win a championship because AI has carried way more than Westbrook and played with way less. So right now, I'm going AI. In 20 years or in 5 years, we'll see. Because Westbrook might average 5 more triple doubles. I don't know.
Yeah, I personally think it's very close. So I don't think that Russ has to get to the finals necessarily. I think some deep playoff success would suffice for me because he's there in terms of, I mean, we'll never see anything like this again in terms of triple doubles. And we never thought we would see anything after Oscar Robertson. And then here we are like 50 years later and it's being done again. And it's insane. And he should not be hated on as much as people do. But having said that, even though it is close, I'm leaning towards AI solely off of that finals run with the Sixers because, I mean, if you have any of the players that Westbrook has had, if you even have Serge Ibaka, you wonder, I mean, he got 1 game against the Lakers with that team. It's just mind-boggling because
what about Serge Ibaka?
If like even on that, if he had like anybody that Westbrook played with on his career, even if he had like Serge Ibaka on that Sixers team, help him.
If he had a viable player.
Right. He didn't have any viable players to back him up. Not even like he just carried them through that whole entire playoffs and got a game against one of the best Lakers teams ever, which is enough to say. So I'm going to say AI because of the reasons that Will has said. but he is like very close, and he does have these triple doubles and accolades, and they are similar in accolades. I think they're similar in like all-star appearances.
Oh yeah.
In terms of scoring titles, it's decently close. Assists is decently close.
No, Westbrook's gonna destroy AI
Right.
and longevity stats. Like it's not
Right.
even gonna be close. I don't even think it's close right now, actually.
Right.
Except
also-
scoring.
I think AI is just one ahead of Westbrook.
Right. They're very close in all of these accolades, and they don't have any finals wins either. So there's that. But they both have, very high caliber seasons and stuff like that too. So it's close, but I'm taking the edge over AI on that one. So
One other thing about this is these two guys are like two of the most hated players for no reason, really.
Right?
yeah,
They really do just get hated for no reason because I've said this on the podcast before. I remember arguing with people this year that were saying Westbrook wasn't a top 5 point guard in the league,
That's
which
actually crazy.
blew my mind. How
Yeah.
could you say that? And
I don't know.
boy, has he shut everybody up. And
Yeah.
then, dude, the play the other night, Prince, I know you saw that. His 2 free throws. People acting like him hitting those 2 free throws isn't clutch. Oh, it's just free throws. What?
Yep.
In that situation?
Right.
LeBron misses free throws.
LeBron
Anthony
misses
Davis
one.
missed.
Exactly.
Brown would have missed one. Yeah. Mhm.
Well, I mean, LeBron shoots I think it's under 50% in the last 24 seconds from the free throw line. It's atrocious. Hitting those free throws, especially when you're down one, because if you're tied, it's not the same thing. I don't want to hear about these tied shots. But the AI and Westbrook have been hated on for virtually no reason. I mean, I understand why people hated AI just because he is different.
Too much of a thug for the league. That's why they literally had to train the dress code policy because of him. It's just stupid, bro.
Yeah, he was too different. Isn't that like Apple's motto or something, slogan? Be different.
Be different. Yeah.
Huh, that's
So
crazy.
very interesting takes.
Be different. Don't be weird.
Right. But
Whatever.
very interesting topics. Both stop hating on Russ, man. I swear to God, because this is a player we might never see again in our lifetime.
Curry, you'll be hating.
Oh, come on. Oh my God.
Well, I got a great argument for you on that one.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh boy. That's an argument for down the line, but obviously, as we talk about Westbrook here, approaching Oscar Robertson's career record for triple doubles, broke it before in 2017. It got us wondering: is his 2017 season in the top 5 seasons of all time? So we're gonna count down our lists for the top 5 seasons of all time here. So.
Really
I want to hear everybody's list first. I'm not going first on this one because
why not? You're the host.
I'm a host, but I want to hear everyone's list first because I have a feeling that something is.
Hey, can we go like our first ones? Everyone goes 1.
That's fine from 5.
I didn't rank.
Order. I didn't rank them. I know which one is the best to me, but after that, I just.
I'm not saying rank. Everyone just name their first ones first.
Okay.
And then, I don't have a rank either, but I do know.
I don't really have a rank either. Yeah.
I have 7. Apparently, I can't count.
7?
So
I
don't know, dude.
I can't rank these, bro. For real, I can't have a best season.
Some of these.
I mean, I have
are
an
insane.
idea, but yeah.
I also to clarify, we were talking regular season only, right?
We were talking regular season only.
Okay, because I only went by regular season. These would change significantly if we were including playoffs.
Interesting. But talking about regular seasons because this is kind of a regular season finale episode, if you will, because the season is ending and we're heading into the play-in tournament and the playoffs. But I'm just going to throw out a name here. The 2000 Shaq, I think, is certainly on this list solely based off because he averaged 30 points and 14 rebounds, and the Lakers destroyed everybody. So he has to be on that list because he was just very dominant. This is probably his most dominant season, in my opinion. And this solidified him as a certified beast and dominant force in the paint. Anyone else want to throw out a name? I just threw out one.
LeBron James.
James win.
2013.
2013 as well.
The greatest player I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
The what?
Said
Greatest
the-
player I've ever seen in my life play.
Oh gosh.
wow.
I mean, he's not the greatest player ever. I'm just saying that I've seen. I've
That
never seen.
season.
seen.
No,
Fair enough.
I
Fair enough.
understand what you're saying. Can I
Bro,
let me add?
I think that was on my list. Yeah.
LeBron literally got
It
robbed.
was on mine as well.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I don't understand. Listen, I don't understand how Marc Gasol won it when he wasn't even on first team all defensive team. He wasn't even on.
That was crazy. I will give LeBron that. That was a bit crazy.
Personally, I thought Ibaka deserved that
I
defensive
did
player of the
too.
year.
Ibaka deserved at least one of those
At
3
least
years.
one. I think that year he should have won it. That year specifically. Yeah.
Ibaka. His name was Ibaka.
Ibaka,
for a reason.
right.
I love that.
Let me add some accolades to those. So LeBron shot 60% from the 2 points for that year that you mentioned, Prince, which is, I mean, I know a lot of his shots are layups, but like still for a whole 82 games to shoot 60% from that range, that's insane. And he did have that stretch where he shot like 10 games.
Yeah, it's like 70%
yeah,
or something.
Like 60% or better.
He was shooting over 35% from 3 too.
Yep.
Well, he shot 41%
He shot 41 for the season.
for that season. And then to talk about Shaq did lead the league in scoring that year. You mentioned Zach. He shot 57% from the field, which again, a lot of his shots are in the paint, but still, that's pretty impressive. And then he scored 61 points against the Clippers. So those two
On
were
his
on my
birthday.
list as well. So I guess now I have to get into the more obvious ones. And I'll save my clear number one for last. But
all right, sure.
Wilt Chamberlain, 1961-62.
Facts.
All right, this is not based on like them winning, but he averaged 50.4 points per game, 25.7 rebounds per. I mean, reading those stats is just it's laughable. They didn't keep track. In Converse, bro. They didn't even they didn't keep track of blocks or steals back then. I would have loved to see what he did then. I would love to see that. He averaged 48.5 minutes per game.
That's crazy.
What? How is that? How? Dude, I don't know of a player today that could even sniff that kind of minutes mostly because it's probably not even possible. No, you couldn't do it. He is scoring champ and rebounding champ. I mean, those numbers are insane. So that's got to be there.
Fair.
Better than Steph Curry.
Mo, you want to throw the name, Mo?
Yeah, so you guys already mentioned Shaq, Wilt's 62 season. I had Hakeem's 94 season, just because what he did in terms of accolades. His stats were 27 a game, 11 rebounds a game, 3.6 assists, 1.6 steals, and 3.7 blocks, 52% from the field. He won MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, All-NBA First Team, All-Defensive First Team. I know we're not talking about playoffs, but I think him and Mike were the only guys to win. No. I think he's the only player to win the Finals MVP, the championship, the MVP, and Defensive Player of the Year in the same year. I don't know if that's true, but that was just one of the guys on my list. And then the other two are 2 MJ seasons, but I think Will has one of them.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I know
that's probably the big number one right there.
Yeah. So
okay. I'll go. I guess we just circled around here. But I also have 86-87 Magic Johnson on this list. Because I mean they went off that season. He kind of carried them. He stepped up big time that season. He averaged 86-87. He was an all-star, 24 points per game, 12 assists, 6 rebounds. I mean, I think they had 63 wins and led the West. I mean, he just took over, and he like was a tier above everybody else. That's one of the factors I have on this list is you have to elevate your team to top tier level. You have to put up all-star numbers, lead the league in some kind of category as well. So that's why I factor in this 86-87 Magic Johnson one as well, because he took him to the finals that year as well. No, we're not talking about playoffs either, but that's another name I'm throwing out here.
Will, did you have Which MJ season did you have?
I had a couple, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have 91?
no.
Okay. Well, 91.
Yeah, I had
I
90,
had that
91, yeah.
just because of what happened the season before with the whole Pistons thing. So they came back the next year and they got, I think it was 62 wins in the regular season. Michael averaged 31.5 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Shot 53% from the field. He won MVP, was All NBA first team, All Defensive first team, led the league in scoring. So just another regular season for Michael Jordan. But I just think just because that was like the first season, the whole dynasty starting. So, I just put that as one of my top 5.
Facts. I had 90, 91 as well. He had 77 of the 96 possible votes, so he was very dominant that season, yes.
I feel like you can make an argument for basically half of Michael Jordan's career on this list. Yeah. You can probably do the same with Wilt.
Yeah.
Somebody else I had just to kind of steer away from those names. Bill Russell, 1961-62. He averaged 19 points a game, 23.6 rebounds a game. This also was in the same year as the Wilt season that I had just previously spoke on. So he just lost the rebounding battle, 24 rebounds a game. Didn't quite win it because, of course, there's somebody else in the league that would average more than 24 rebounds a game. That makes sense. Averaged 45.2 minutes per game. Shockingly, not the highest, because somebody averaged 48.5 rebounds per game. But he did win the MVP. Why? Because the team was Bill Russell. Because the team was way better than Wilt's team, obviously. But he was all NBA second team, and they didn't keep track of blocks and steals back then again. So I'd have loved to have seen what he was doing because he was a defensive machine. I think we all know that Celtics team was arguably the greatest defensive team ever. So I put that up there. He averaged 4.5 assists per game. I forgot to mention that was a career high for him at that point. He later in his career started averaging way more assists.
Right.
For what it's worth.
Yep.
So,
is this you guys' second one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Princess and Don second. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Me, I have for my list. I have people that I've seen play. So no one under I'll say 2006.
Okay.
So me, I have Kevin Durant's 2013-2014 season. He had no Westbrook until Westbrook came back playing only 40 games, and he led the team to the NBA conference finals, and they lost to San Antonio. And he led the league in points, 32 points a game. No Westbrook. Westbrook came back 40 games left in the game or season. Ibaka was having 15 points. And he had that stretch where he was scoring over 25 points a game for 15 straight games. You can't argue that. And he had one of the greatest MVP speeches of all time.
Yo,
MVP. Facts.
Yeah. So,
it is Mother's Day today too.
Yes, sir.
Time of this recording, yes, sir.
Yes, it is.
Shout out to all the mothers out there.
That's facts. That's facts.
But we've already kind of gone through most of my list because they listed off 90, 91 MJ, and we talked about Magic and Shaq.
KD also averaged 29 points per game during the playoffs that year too, by the way.
Was Jordan's 1988 season your number one? Yeah, that was my first one. I didn't have to research that.
That's the greatest season I've ever. But I did have the season he had before that as up there as well, the 97-98 season.
Hey, can you guys stop naming the GOAT? Obvious.
No. Yeah, that's the one that I said. The one who averaged 35 points a game.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant season after that. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
98, 99.
Because that was the season. That's the season he came back after his leg broke, right?
Or 88, 89. God, Jesus.
Right.
I can't speak. I can't read, at least. Yeah, that was the season that the team was so bad that he just demanded to play point guard.
Yeah.
And literally averaged a triple-double.
For 20 games.
Yeah. while he was playing.
This man-
32.5, 8, 8, 3 steals a game.
Three
Wow.
steals a game and then almost 2
What?
blocks a game as a guard, bro. That's crazy. While putting up 35 points. That's insane.
Facts.
That
So
that
we-
doesn't
yeah.
that's insane. That has to and then 40 minutes per game also. Steals champ, scoring champ, MVP, defensive player of the year, 98, 97 or 90, 87, 88. God, averaged 11 free throws per game, shot 84% from the line. That's pretty good. You know, back then they weren't all shooters, all star. And I mean, it's the greatest season ever. That's the most complete season.
Complete,
ever.
yeah.
Complete.
And it
yeah.
would be, you know, regular season, because obviously they didn't do diddly squat in the playoffs, but
Yeah.
you know.
Anybody have anything else?
Since I was gonna say, just because most of our list consisted of, you know, old timers and legends. Since we're all familiar with the league today and kind of more, you know, knowledgeable about it. In terms of modern times, today's NBA, what are you guys' like top 3 seasons?
I have Westbrook's 2016-17. Even though they lost first round, I mean the regular season, bro. Golly, if you guys watched that, bro, I think he led the league in clutch points with like 8 points in the fourth quarter.
That season was ridiculous, and the way it ended too, with the shot
game
on the
winner,
Nuggets.
bro. Yeah, facts.
And people don't know, but that game winner took the Nuggets out of the playoff.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Wow.
Got a man from 3, but he's shooting 34%. The hell?
34 is not really good, man. I'm just letting you know.
I know, but for him, that's pretty good.
That is true. For Westbrook, that's pretty good. That'll do it.
What else?
I mean, you'll appreciate this, Mohammed.
Yeah, go ahead.
You gotta. I would acknowledge Derrick Rose's 2010-2011 season.
Don't say that name because everybody thinks that's the most overrated MVP season of all time.
No,
it's ridiculous.
Dude, he was 22 years old. He was 22 years old, leading the Bulls team. There wasn't an all-star on the team. There wasn't another all-star.
But Tom Thibodeau's all-time defense. Apparently, the Bulls have an all-time defense. According to Twitter, according to NBA Twitter of today's day, the Bulls had an all-time defense that year.
Dude,
even though Joakim Noah lost, he was out for 30+ games. Carlos Boozer was out for 30+ games.
Please start mentioning them. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was top 10 in points and assists. The only player that season to be top 10 in points and assists.
Yep.
62 wins. At the All-Star break, they were third in the East. While Boozer missed literally every game except for like 5 games before the All-Star break. They're still top 3 in the East. When Miami had obviously the big 3. When Boston still had their big 4. When Orlando Magic still had that squad. By the way, everybody kept saying, "Oh, LeBron should have won MVP." But he wasn't even second MVP for him. He was freaking Dwight Howard, bro.
We're still talking about the seasons, right?
Yeah, we're just talking about ones we're more familiar with. I mean, and I said Derrick Rose, dude. If you watched him play that year, like,
thank you.
It just wasn't like he wasn't the best player in the league, but he had the best season, and that's what an MVP is, because you had to watch him and you just be like, oh man, any given night, it's like. No, he was box office, as Stephen A would say. He was box office.
Facts.
So I had Derrick Rose up there.
I'd put it in Giannis's MVP seasons just because of his numbers that he put up.
Highest PER ever.
You talking about 2019?
2019.
Yeah.
Well, 2020 just because what the Bucks did, because they're literally on their way to winning at least close to 70 games, I think, before the season got interrupted by the pandemic, obviously. But 2019, just what was he averaging? Close to 30. Was what, 29 points a game?
Yeah, 29.
Yep.
13 boards and like 6 assists.
Yeah.
And then obviously we'll say highest PER of all time.
Led the league.
Led the league. So I put Giannis's MVP seasons up there. I'd also put obviously Curry's unanimous this season. 73 wins.
Thank you.
I was waiting. He didn't want to be the one to say it.
I was waiting for somebody to say it.
What season?
I was gonna bring it up. 2016, obviously. Yeah.
Prince, I was gonna bring up the 2015 season because I didn't think he deserved it. I think it should have been Harden.
Didn't honestly. He didn't.
It should have been Harden.
Yeah, Harden.
Okay. Thank you. I actually have the Steph Curry 2015-2016 season in my top 5 all time. 30 points per game.
That's not a top 5. No.
What do you mean it's not? It has everything that is complete about a regular season. He won the scoring title. He led the league in steals, 50-40-90 club. The Warriors went 73-9, unanimous MVP in NBA history. I mean, there's no argument against it that it isn't top 5, solely based off the fact that he got a scoring title. His team broke the regular season record, 73-9 wins. And then he also was the unanimous MVP, something that has never been done in NBA history. So there's no argument. I mean,
Shaq should have been the first unanimous MVP. It was clear cut, but obviously there was haters in the.
Some haters really voted for somebody else. It's crazy.
Yeah. And
by one vote, it was one vote.
One vote.
The 2013 LeBron was also close. I think he was one vote shy.
LeBron's 2016, there too.
They went to like Melo. 2013 went to Melo, I think. But the truth speaks for itself, and the facts speak for itself on that matter. But
it has argument, but I wouldn't personally put it top 5 just because.
That's fair.
The only reason I don't have it top 5 is because when I looked at my top 5 list, I wasn't looking at like team records or that stuff. I was just looking at stats that blew out to me.
Yeah.
Like,
okay,
what thing did I see that was just like crazy? And Steph just doesn't have that. Like, to me, yeah, it was a great season, but like Wilt, I got 50 points per game. Jordan, I got 35, 8-8, 3-2 or whatever. Like those are insane to me. But yeah, that's just my personal.
Interesting. Nice analysis from everyone. Anybody have any last season they want to talk about?
I just want to mention Wilt's 63-64 season because I forgot to mention this. I just think this is funny. He averaged 37 points per game, 22 rebounds, casually, 5 assists, shot 52% from the field. The rest of his team shot 35%, which if you just can comprehend how insanely horrible his teammates were, like that's insane. 35%, bro. You're not getting help from anyone. You're better off. He was literally better off taking every shot himself.
Was this on Golden State or on Philly?
He was on Philly, I want to say at that point.
You can put Zach on the floor and he'd still be doing something.
Wow.
Funny shit.
Wow.
On that note, I want to acknowledge somebody that had a good season but didn't get MVP.
He was on Golden State, yeah.
He was on Golden State?
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Kobe's 06 season because if we want to talk about carrying a bunch of nobodies somewhere, that man Kobe carried a bunch of nobodies to at least the playoffs because 35 points a game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. I think it was 2 steals. I don't know how many blocks he averaged. But what he did in terms of carrying, he should have been MVP, but his team record wasn't good enough. Even though they would have been probably the worst team of all time, at least top 5 worst teams of all time without Kobe. But what he did in 06, if they just at least had a top 5 seed, he would have won the MVP, man. Should have. And then also want to acknowledge his KG MVP season.
Yes, sir.
Most underrated big man of all time, at least a top 3 underrated big man of all time. We already talked about it. Better than Dirk, obviously. But when I'm talking about carrying not only did he carry a bunch of nobodies, he carried the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is probably the worst NBA franchise of all time, to 50 wins in the West. In the West, by the way.
It is the worst.
Yep. Interesting topics. A lot of talks about carrying teams. Pretty interesting things. Love the debates. But we're moving on here to the Brooklyn Nets. Some modern NBA history news. The Nets recently lost back-to-back games to the Bucks. I don't know if they were back-to-back in sequence, but they lost both like back-to-back to the Bucks. So
we get it.
Right. So I want to ask the question again here. Who is the biggest threat to them? We've talked about the Nets a lot on this podcast. But one thing that comes to mind is these losses, and I want to pose the question again. Who do you think is the Nets' biggest threat in the East come playoff time? Is it the Bucks after these two losses?
Well, I want to acknowledge something before
Yep.
we talk about who's the biggest threat.
Sure.
If you guys actually watch those two games against the Bucks, I want to point out two things.
Yep.
One thing is Steve Nash should not be an NBA head coach. Okay,
Facts.
Steve
enough.
Nash
Fair enough.
is not an
Been
NBA
saying that
coach.
from the first episode. Sorry.
I picked him to be coach of the year just because he had three obviously terrific players, so they would have carried him for a coach of the year. Just like how Steve Kerr can't coach, but obviously he had Curry and Thompson and Green, and then they had KD. But that's one thing. Secondly, James Harden's importance to that team showed. I know they lost those games because of Steve Nash's defensive assignments, because apparently they said let Giannis shoot. This man took 12 threes in the second game they played. 12 threes. He made 4. But if you guys watched it, when they put DeAndre Jordan on him or Claxton, they literally just had him. They had him so much space, especially on top of the key. So either Giannis would walk up to pull up 3, or he would just drive into the paint, do his little spin or to his right to left, whatever it was. It was ridiculous. Right. It's like they're just inviting this man to try to score on them.
Yep.
Oh my God, man. It pissed me off so much.
Yep.
To the free throw line if he has power going into the free throw, going to the paint. If he has power going to the paint, bro,
He's gonna outmuscle him. He's gonna outmuscle everybody.
Right.
You're gonna get
if you're gonna do that, at least do what the Heat did and just like all the Raptors. Just not make a little wall, but at least put 3 guys, like, do a little zone assignment. Just put 3 guys in the middle and then just cover the wings so he can't kick out to a shooter. Don't just have one guy, especially someone slow as DeAndre Jordan on him, and just let him just either pull up a 3 or just go straight to the paint, bro. Like, that doesn't make sense.
DeAndre Jordan needs to up, bro.
Yep.
He's not that good anymore.
Yep.
You need to get cut.
Facts. Yeah. Yeah.
And
If y'all saw that game, Kyrie was playing terrible. Oh my God, he was just chucking up shots just to like get a heat check or whatever, just to get stuff going. But he was like messing up the game. No flow, no offense, bro. If you guys watch the Nets play, they get like 3 screens a game, bro. There's no screens for open shooters.
Yep.
Like, what's it called? What's the 3 shooter's name again?
Joe
Harris.
Joe Harris has to like. I mean, they don't even screen him. Like, he has to run around and like find screens.
Right.
There's no. Are you saying there's no offense?
Like, there's not really. Oh wow,
There's not.
Sounds like a coach doesn't know what they're doing.
Very
I'm
shocking.
telling you.
There's no fluidity.
It's funny because he has Dan Tony on his coaching staff, but apparently if Dan Tony doesn't have James Harden on the floor, he doesn't know how to coach an NBA basketball team, bro.
Facts.
Harden's the most important player on the team, by the way.
Facts. I agree.
I used to think it was KD, but after these past couple of games, man, it just looks like KD's just there just to be there. He doesn't look like he cares. I think he's just waiting for James Harden to come because Kyrie's going back to play how Kyrie
plays. He doesn't know how to play point guard. Kyrie does not know how to play point guard.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Even when he was on the Celtics, like Tatum was technically kind of the point because Kyrie just.
It was
Marcus Smart, bro.
It was Marcus
Smart.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Yep. Still.
They made a better player, not carry team.
Facts.
Yeah, go ahead.
I disagree. First of all, I think Durant will be the main guy when it comes to the playoffs. But I do agree with you guys, and I've said this throughout his career, and I'm a Durant fan. He doesn't care enough. Like he's always had that problem. He always has. Like when he was on the Thunder, he always had the issue of not caring. And the only time I ever saw him really care about the season was when Westbrook was gone, and basically he had to do everything. And that was basically when he knew Westbrook wasn't coming back, right?
Yeah.
There's no sense of urgency here, and so I just want to go through. I want to run through some stuff here. The Bucks play well against good teams for some reason. They don't really play well against bad teams, but good teams, they're great. Now, what have I said before? I've said what was one of the issues I noticed with the Warriors when they had Durant? They were really bad in close games. Didn't I? I said that a few episodes ago, right?
You did, yes.
And I said that I wasn't sure how the Nets were in those situations, so I looked it up. They're 3-5 in games within 3 points. That's not good.
No.
right? The teams
Mm-hmm.
that they're going to compete against, and I just assumed it's going to be the Bucks and 76ers. I don't know who else. I just said those two teams. Maybe the Heat would be in there, but both those teams have winning records.
Yep.
The games are close. Those are the kinds of games you're going to have in the playoffs. You're not steamrolling everyone. We said
Mhm.
it. We said it before. Now, basically, the Nets dominate in every other facet of the game. It doesn't matter where they're playing, away, home, below 500 teams, above 500 teams, their division, Western Conference. It doesn't matter. They smoke everyone. Now, they're not great on the road. They're 19-16, but considering the rest of the NBA, that's respectable. That would be better than most teams.
Mm-hmm.
They're 22-12 against teams above 500. That's really good. That's really good.
It's pretty good.
But they I said it the first episode of this podcast, man. Steve Nash might be the downfall of them. He might be the downfall.
Oh Lord, man.
Because I've had questions about it, and they just keep screaming at me, right? Because I look at how he coaches, I look at his, and it's mostly matchups, right, Mohammed? I mean, it's mostly matchups that just make me wonder, like, what are you doing? Like, how does that make sense?
It's those rotations too, bro. Oh my God.
And rotations, yes. And I said this, and I get backlash from friends of mine about like, oh, his rotations or whatever. They don't need to play this guy. They got enough, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no. Yeah. They don't. They need to play these people. You need to develop some sort of chemistry. I've said it before.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it again. It doesn't just magically all come together in the playoffs.
Just because you have three, right? Just because you have three all-stars, right? And three superstars now. And
I will say James Harden is much more important than I had originally guessed. I knew he was important, but like, I think Durant and Kyrie are really going through the motions right now.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Yeah, they're coasting.
And they can't be, because we're 1 week away from the season being over. You need to start caring. It's time.
They're coasting because it's not the playoffs yet.
And they were the first seed last week when we recorded our episode. Now they're 3 games out of the first seed.
Yep, they're 2 seed.
Might drop to 3.
They might drop to 3. They might drop to 3.
They're the 3rd seed right now.
No, they're 2.
Oh,
I mean, but
unless did they lose tonight? Did they play?
Either teams.
No, they beat the Nuggets yesterday.
No, yeah. So they're 2.
Yeah.
They're a half game above Milwaukee.
So the thing is, though, like, they should have got the 1st seed, because if you're gonna go this whole going through motions thing, at least play the 1st seed, because you can have an easier path to the conference finals, because they would have played whoever goes to the play-in, which probably would have been the Wizards or the Pacers, whoever it is, and then they would have played the Knicks or the Hawks 2nd round. Now that they're the 3rd seed, the 2nd seed, they're gonna have to play again a play-in team, but they're gonna probably play the Bucks.
Well, let me talk about that. Let me add on to that is, if they do fall to the 3rd seed, they're going to run into Miami, and I wouldn't want to play Miami in the 1st round. No, I wouldn't want to play Miami, period. But as a 1st round, that the level of difficulty between playing the 7th and 8th seed and then the 6th seed this year for the East is significant to me, because I personally think Miami could go to the finals. I just think they're that good when healthy. If they can be healthy.
I don't think Miami be Philly though.
What's up?
Really?
Yeah, I don't think
Miami got Philly's number for the past couple years, bro.
Yeah, true.
We don't know. That's the Celtics. I'm tweaking. Never mind.
I want to also say this. I want to say that when they do have Kyrie and Harden and Durant, they are very scary, and they can go through anybody. And I think they are the favorite to win the East, even if they don't lock up the ones. Even if they don't lock up the 1 seed, everybody thinks they're going to coast because they have Durant and they have Harden and they have Irving. But when they have those 3 players on the floor, obviously they're going to probably obliterate a lot of teams, but they don't have that chemistry either. And then in addition to that, we talked about Jordan. There's not a lot of people to guard the paint. So who's going to stop? Nobody. I don't know who's going to stop Giannis or Embiid or anybody that's big that can score down low. And in addition to that, they don't really have a decent amount of defenders on the perimeter. So if teams get it going from 3, I don't know who's going to stop like if teams get it going from three, I don't know who can stop them on the Nets. So there's just a lot of defensive issues. Obviously, if they have all three superstars, they're healthy, they'll probably dominate, but it's looking like they probably won't, and then they won't have chemistry there either. So there's a lot of issues, both chemistry-wise, defensive-wise, coaching-wise. We talked about that as well. So we'll see if these issues are resolved in the playoffs, if they just magically go away, but I don't know.
I'm realizing now when they have Harden, I think without Harden they're 7-10, and then with Harden they're like 25-6 or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But in terms of offense, Harden running the point or just running the offense is more smoother. It looks like, especially when you watch the games. Yeah. Other than Kyrie, he can run point guard, he can get assists, but I just think like Harden has a better flow with him when he's running the offense. But when you look at their starting lineup, like they have no good like above average defenders. Like KD's an average defender. Harden, if he tries, he's an average defender. Kyrie, obviously, his frame doesn't really, help him with defending. But even their big men, like DeAndre Jordan's kind of showing his age sometimes when he defends, especially. I guess rim protecting, he's decent. But if you get him an ISO with Giannis or Joel with Embiid, he's gonna get cooked most of the time.
Eat that dude.
Off the bench, I mean, they have Blake Griffin, they have Shamet, they have Claxton.
Like, they should have been playing Claxton more, bro. I'm telling you, Claxton is a good defensive piece.
That's why I never understood them getting rid of Shumpert because, you need defense, bro. You can't. I don't know, like the whole Harden thing. Like, if they get Harden back and they go, through the East, I feel like okay, maybe they can outscore teams, but.
Right.
I think that's too risky of a move. That's why they should have at least got Shumpert, or if not Shumpert, they should have, got some type of free agent and try to trade for some type of just perimeter defender, bro. Because, trying to outshoot teams, especially in the playoffs, defense is key in the playoffs. So I don't know. I think it's too risky for the whole, trying to score everybody. But we'll see what happens because, like I said, with Harden, their record is pretty good. Especially against good teams too. So
facts. Yeah, just for reference, this is hilarious. Making fun of Steve Nash again. So DeAndre Jordan is averaging 7 points and 7 rebounds this season, and he's shooting 76%, which is pretty decent. But he's only playing 21 minutes. That doesn't make any sense.
I've been wondering about the playing time for their centers. It's blowing my mind.
It's terrible, dude.
It's the whole small ball thing again. D'Antoni's idiotic self is on the staff. I forgot.
They're most of their issues, I think, will be coaching related, like we said, because they don't have the defensive pieces, and you can't change that at this point. So you're gonna have to make coaching adjustments to compensate. Like one thing that Steve Kerr did that was really ballsy, but you got to give him credit for in the finals, was starting Iguodala. I don't know if Steve Nash has the strength or the will or the knowledge to do something like that.
Or the players.
Or the experience or the players. I mean, really, because they basically gave up their defensive players. And Durant can be a good, kind of help defensive player. He proved that in Golden State. He was a great defensive player, but I don't know on ball if he's that guy. Harden certainly isn't. Kyrie certainly isn't. Joe Harris can't defend for the life of him. I mean, and that's their starting five right there. And then you got DJ. What are they gonna do? I mean, they're clearly trying to play like you said, Mohammed. They're trying to outscore everybody, and that only works so much. I just am trying to think what teams.
Yeah, and if you're at full strength, and they have not been at full strength basically this entire season.
Mom, you brought up those stats, how they play with Harden and Kyrie or Durant. The stats are skewed. I looked at those last week. I think it's hard to really judge those because with Harden has played with Kyrie way more than Durant has played with either of them, or Kyrie has played with either of them. So it's really hard to say, but. When they play together, what are they 7-2 or something? It's all three of them.
All three of them, yeah. It's the only 2 losses and 8 wins or something like that.
It's something like that. So they're pretty good, but is that enough of a sample to to like give you an idea. Can you take that and transfer it to the playoffs? I have a lot of questions with this. I really do.
Yep.
And everybody thinks it's going to be a cakewalk.
Yeah, I mean, I predicted 60-0.
Idiot.
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing if that doesn't happen?
No. I didn't.
No, that's the Mavericks one.
Oh, that
that's
was
the
the Mavericks.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said they're missing the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, they're doing pretty bad in the beginning of the season, so I thought it was a possibility. But I was gonna bring up like, what's it called? If they were gonna get knocked out, who do you think is the biggest threat? Like the original question was,
Yeah.
if you guys had to predict who would knock them out in the playoffs.
Man,
I'm starting to
tough.
think the Bucks
I'm trying to think the Bucks. Yeah.
because the Bucks are starting to play well at the right time, and that does matter a little bit.
Yeah.
They also have experience.
It's so interesting because you could say the Bucks, you could say the Sixers, you could say the Heat. If they get things going in the playoffs, if they get hot, then they're gonna probably blow through them if they still have injuries. Real quick, Harden said that he could.
The Bulls.
Very Harden has said that he's very confident that he'll
beat them twice this season. By the way,
play a few games at the end of the regular season. But we'll see if Harden can come back. No specific date for his return though. So
I just thought about it personnel wise, dude. Philly matches up really good with them, bro.
Facts.
In terms of personnel, dude, Ben Simmons on Harden, Kyrie. I mean, Danny Green on Kyrie. I know Danny Green is bashed a lot for his stupid hair looks and his terrible shooting slumps and stuff like that. But I will admit he is a good defender, especially in the perimeter. So if you put him on Kyrie, put Harden on James.
Except in Game 6
Simmons.
in the finals.
Shout out Matisse Thybulle.
Thybulle. We talked about Thybulle's defensive season he had last week.
Three minutes.
Tobias is a good matchup against KD too, and you have Embiid. I mean that. Yeah. In terms of defense, man, that's a pretty good team to match up against someone like the Nets. So I feel like Philly probably the biggest.
I mean, we talked about it last week.
Talk about it every week.
Every week, I still would say the Heat, if they can just get healthy and just as an all-around organization, they got the coaching, they got everything, and it kind of depends on when they meet them because I don't know what he said. What do you say?
Nets in 5 against the Heat.
If the Nets meet them,
I don't believe in the Heat at all.
Wow.
I didn't believe in them at all last year, and then they went to the finals.
Happened? Yeah.
To be honest,
it depends. Let me say this. It depends on when they meet them because I don't think the Nets are going to lose in the first round.
Well, yeah.
So if they meet the Heat in the first round, I don't think it's going to happen.
Right now, it's looking like
it might happen, bro. If they don't get their act together, they're going to meet the Heat.
To be honest, last year I knew the Bucks weren't going to make it to the finals.
Did you say to be honest?
To be honest.
Oh.
But get it. Giannis though.
Enough with that joke, bro. Enough with that joke. Come on, man.
To be honest,
God.
Didn't believe in the Bucks last year because Budenholzer was just terrible. He doesn't know how to make adjustments.
That's true.
I mean, dude, if you watched it, was it 2015? Was when the Hawks were the #1 seed?
Yeah, it was 2015.
Bro, this man, I forgot who he had on Kyrie, but bro, he didn't know how to adjust to the Cavs and shit, bro. He was just you guys are the #1 seed. It was a fluke by far.
Don't even get me started on Budenholzer, bro. Don't even get me started.
I don't get why Popovich's staff when they go out and coach their own team, they don't take his methods with them.
Philly's old coach, San Antonio?
Yeah, Bruce Brown. He was on Popovich's staff.
He was horrendous.
Freaking Boyle, freaking clown.
Bro, how you guys gonna hire a live boiling egg?
Oh my!
That's wild.
Yeah, but
my God.
Budenholzer, obviously, just all these guys struggle after they leave Popovich. So I don't know, man.
See,
maybe Tim Duncan, if he ever leaves. Actually, he might take over for Pop. But don't they have the woman? What's her name?
I don't know her name. Is she gonna
Becky Hammond? Is that her name?
Yeah, something like it is Becky.
Yeah, but her. I mean, if she ever gets to be, that'd be nice to have a women's head coach. But if she ever leaves, hopefully, she breaks the curse because Boonhoser over here, having an MVP in a 70-win season and getting dropped off by the Heat in the first round.
It is something that should be said. So that's my issue is the Bucks got a coaching issue. All right. They got a serious coaching issue. So I will get down. I'm like, Sixers, I don't believe in the Sixers. I'm sorry. I've looked at their teams the past few years and I've just been like,
but Bruce Brown was the problem or one of the issues. He's gone. They have Doc Rivers, who I know it doesn't have a good playoff resume in terms of.
I'll tell you one thing: if they don't go up 3-1, then maybe I'll believe in them.
Doc Rivers is the most overrated coach of all time.
He's a what?
Doc Rivers is one of the most overrated coaches of all time.
Well, that's facts. Yeah.
Not like he's overrated, but like I've been seeing like these NBA like lists of the like top 10 coaches, and he's beyond the list. He has one chip.
Yeah.
And he did underachieve with the Clippers. With the Clippers, he underachieved.
Was it 2 leads? I think it was
three. One with the Magic, one with the Clippers with Chris Paul, then obviously the one last year. So 3 times in his career.
Remember we were talking about this before the Nuggets and Clippers series? Yeah. That's crazy. We said if he doesn't beat them, he's gonna get fired.
And
I remember.
And I think Thibodeau came up with the formula to combat the Lakers on that Celtics championship team too. I don't think it was Rivers. I think it was.
Yes, sir. Thanks for mentioning that because people don't give credit to Tom Thibodeau for it. Because everybody thought it was Doc Rivers because he's a defensive head coach. It was
Thibodeau is the reason why it doesn't hate battle.
Yes, sir.
A Bulls coach succeeding.
Interesting. Interesting debate there. Moving on to the next topic, though. But this is interesting. LeBron James recently came back and said he'll never be healthy again. The full quote here is, for my first game in 6 weeks, I felt okay. As far as my wind, I felt pretty good. As far as my ankle, it was a little tight at times. It's been an urgency for me to get back ever since I got injured, so that's just who I am. You guys have seen the logging of the minutes and hours per day that I was doing as far as rehab and treatment. A lot more than I slept over the last 6 weeks. That's all I've been doing. Having an urgency to get back and play. He said it was horrible, honestly, for him and the most stressful that he's ever been in his career. He's happy he's playing now, so there's a little stress relief. But he said that I don't think I will ever get back to 100% in my career. Issues with this comment, gentlemen. First off, I'm just going to say Michael Jordan would never have said this in his career. Michael Jordan always would never have said anything to this. He always is going to say he's 100%. He's not going to have any excuses like this. Lakers fans, if the Lakers lose in the playoffs and they're down pretty bad recently, probably going to bring this excuse back up. He's not 100%. He's not 100%, but I'm sorry. But if you're playing, it's hard to argue against that. So,
Kobe shot free throws with
the torn Achilles.
Is that a painful injury?
Honestly, it's not.
Oh, it's not. Okay, then you know what? Forget I said it. He's weak.
You can come back from that in like a week.
Oh yeah. So okay. So nothing to talk about then. Forget it.
My comments on this.
Yep.
All right. LeBron is a smart guy. Okay. LeBron, I feel like, cares more about his image sometimes than his basketball play. So I think he's just trying to set himself up for success, for more fame, for more for more credit. Okay. So if he does come back, he's gonna look like 25-year-old LeBron James, like they always talk about. Like people like, oh, look at this man. He was worried about his health, and now look at him. He's performing at an all-time high. The usual. Remember what happened back in 2018 after he got swept? Oh, I broke my hand in game 1, but I didn't say anything about it till now after I got swept.
He came out with the cast.
Came out with the damn cast.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me, bro?
You remember his therapist said, oh, he was supposed to come back like 2019. Remember when he got injured?
2019? Oh yeah, the groin.
He hurts like groin.
Yeah.
like one of his like therapists was saying, oh, he was supposed to come back for like 6 months. That's cap.
This man strained the groin. He didn't tear it, bro. He strained it.
Yep.
Okay, like I'm not trying to accuse him of anything, but I just feel like he does this for like PR.
Yep.
In terms of like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to say like he's trying to like set himself up for like excuses, but just I think like he just says that. And I've never had a high ankle sprain. I know like sometimes the really bad ones take like 2 months just to like fully heal.
I've had one.
Okay, Will, Will, go ahead and just say your thoughts then, since you can relate.
It hurts. I mean, it hurts. I thought my ankle was broken, but I'm not a professional athlete, and it took me a couple months. And that was mostly because I didn't rehab correctly, and I decided to play basketball on it like a week later, which was a terrible idea. Who would have thought?
Mm-hmm.
But LeBron's a professional athlete that probably rehabbed like crazy. But go on. I didn't mean to interrupt your take.
I'm just saying, like, I guess he re-aggravated once when he came back against who was it? Who did he play? Anybody know?
That's a good question, but you are right. He did aggravate it like late, right?
Yeah, and he's missed the past 2 games, key games against the Clippers and Trailblazers, where they both lost. Now they have, some danger going to play-in. So
they're in the play-in, I think, right now.
They're
the 7th
sir.
seed.
Yeah, they're in the play-in. So it's gonna be tough, man. Like I still believe they're probably the favorites to come out the West, but
yeah,
I mean their path now, especially if they make out the play-in, dude. I think they got to play the Clippers the second round. So it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough.
Well,
And AD over here, falling over the scorer's table and twisting his ankle and having back spasms and whatnot. And then comes back and scores 36 the next game. I don't know where that comes from. And then Mr. Andre Drummond with the worst defensive rating on the team after, Lakers fans were hyping him up. And, they had Frank Vogel over here showing why he's a bad coach and he's not a good coach. And everybody thought he was a good coach last year because they won a championship. But this man has Alex Caruso 90% of the time on Paul George. Caruso.
Wait, were you talking about the photo of Anthony Davis? They said he was out with back spasms as he's grabbing his ankle. Are you talking about that? Dude, that was crazy.
They twisted his ankle, and then they say he's out the rest of the game for back spasms.
Dude, that was so crazy. That was so crazy. I couldn't believe they did that.
So, I mean, they have Mike Collins, they have Jason Kidd and Frank Vogel on one coaching staff, and let's just have Alex Caruso on Paul George the whole game, and then have Andre Drummond have the worst defense rating on the team. Don't play Marc Gasol, even though he's probably the better player for you right now. And then what else they do? They don't play Wesley Matthews at all. They play him 10 minutes a game. And they played him against, I think it was the game before the Clippers, he scored like 10 points in like 8 minutes. Didn't get any minutes against the Clippers. So the coaching staff, Frank Vogel his rotations are terrible. I just want to say that. So, but LeBron is the real coach of the team. We all know that. So when he comes back, hopefully he can fix everything up. Yep.
I can't wait for my friends to hear you just say that.
Facts.
It's ridiculous.
Facts, though. That's it right now for topics. We're moving on to
from the medic job for a reason.
Wait. I want to say something.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
About this. First of all, I do think he is preemptively setting up an excuse because LeBron, like you said, is smart. He does this all the time. He always does this. Any team he's on, there's always an excuse in advance. When the Cavs, the Cavs, I need more playmakers. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There was the excuse. I remember I was in Cleveland and I told all of my fraternity brothers or whatever, I told them, they're going to trade the whole team. They're going to trade everyone. Everybody's going to get traded from this team. Anybody who is not relevant to the team right now. And like just a day later or something, everybody got shipped off. Everybody. They all he always sets up excuses. It's just who he is. I don't know why. Like you said, Jordan would never do something like that. Like, nope. You get hurt, play through it or don't. You don't need to complain about it. We don't care. Nobody cares about your injury. I don't need to hear it. What about the cramps? in the finals. Are you kidding me?
But when the AC came back on in the Spurs that one time.
Oh my goodness gracious,
Are you
bro.
kidding me? Like, I don't get it. And then like with the fist punch, all right, I'll give it to you. Maybe you broke your hand, but if you're gonna say it after that game, because then it just looks like an excuse for losing.
Yeah.
It really does. As for the Lakers, there's a lot to question about them. There's a ton.
Yep.
They got a lot of coaching issues, as the Nets, as the Nets do. But yes, LeBron's the coach of the team, and they're probably gonna make it out of the West, and it'll look amazing because they're gonna be a 6 or a 7 seed more than likely, and the fact that they'll make it out of the West will just be unbelievable to a lot of people. And I mean, you said in the quote you said that he said there was urgency for him to come back.
Yes.
What? There was no urgency. The Lakers were maybe behind the scenes there was urgency, but the Lakers just kept saying we're just going to give him all the time in the world. The amount of time, I can't remember how much time did he miss. Do you guys remember?
It was
Like,
a month.
game
Game wise, I know
no, time, like a month and a half.
Month and a half. Yeah.
Okay, so that's I'm pretty sure in terms of like high ankle sprains, if you have like a hot, grade 3 or whatever the highest one is, you're looking at surgery, and then he'd be done for the year. But anything above that, you're out for maybe a month max. So a month and a half from the medical stuff that I know, which is limited to WebMD and my girlfriend, is is that he could have been back in a month. And as a professional athlete, I got to think he would be back in a month or earlier. So a month and a half. What urgency are you talking about? The Lake.
By the way, they just beat the Suns. AD scored 42.
Interesting.
Really?
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Wow, that was key.
Bro, if you look at the box score, dude, AD was the whole team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was out from March 21st.
I mean, Drummond had 6 points, bro.
He was out from March 21st.
Drummond, how much points?
6 points, 2 rebounds.
Wait, hold up. What'd you say this, Zach? I want to hear that.
He was out from March 21st to
2 rebounds.
April 30th.
Okay, so a month and a half almost. Yeah,
Almost,
so that
yeah.
should have been.
Oh man.
Played 2
Yeah,
games. Now he's out again. Yeah.
I'm looking at this box score. What was their purpose of picking up Montrezl Harrell? I mean,
he
I
doesn't play
understand,
anything.
but he doesn't play.
Minutes. Yeah.
I don't. What about THT?
They don't even play Morris anymore, dude.
THT is injured right now.
He played tonight, buddy.
Oh, okay. It was his first game back from injury.
Exactly.
Is Kuzma injured?
Nope.
How about Dennis? How about Schroeder?
He's out with
Who's injured?
Man.
No, he has protocols.
Oh,
COVID. This is another team that could have some chemistry issues.
No,
they won't. No. Any team with LeBron does not have chemistry.
That's what I was gonna say. Is LeBron can really rally the troops, and I think he's really good with the refs too. So
yeah.
All right.
Kuzma, crazy. Kuzma's gonna be the one game, 8 points the next game. Just that's the guy right there. That's AD's help. THT's better than Kuzma, by the way.
If you could get Kelly Oubre and Kuzma on one team, oh my
god. Moving on to bold takes. Wrapping up with bold takes of the week. Episode 14, I said Lakers fall into play-in tourney, so marking that up as a dub for me.
Not really bold.
Booker didn't have a 50-point game, I don't think, so that's a no. Pelicans make the play-in tourney. That has not happened for Muhammad. That was bold, though. Right, that was bold.
Thanks, I guess.
But they are a game.
Should I get
They're close. They're close. They're a game behind the Spurs, who are the 10 seed, so they are close.
No, Zion's injured right now, so probably not going to happen.
Hornets up to 7 seed for Will. They're the 8th seed right now, so that didn't happen.
Got smoked by the Bulls.
D-Rose 40-point game.
Wait. Oh, damn.
I don't think that happened.
Wait,
And the
what?
Heat-
Yeah, no, it didn't happen.
And the Heat are not the 4 seed.
1 game out of the 4 seed.
So, episode 15. I probably should go first on this as well.
You did, as a rule of thumb, you're going first always.
Yeah, this is gonna be. Is this end of the week now?
This is the last one.
This is the last one. Okay. Wow. So, what am I gonna say here? That's bold. I already said Lakers are in the play-in tournament. That's not really that bold. Did I say this? Yeah, I'm gonna say that the Celtics are gonna fall to.
Wayside.
I think the Hornets are gonna pass them up. Pass up the Celtics.
Wow. Okay.
What else?
Houston's gonna beat the Lakers this Wednesday.
There's one for.
Yeah, they're both Prince.
There's one for Prince.
That's a real bold one right there. Golly.
Kevin Porter's gonna score 35 plus. By the way,
Against the
I
Lakers.
think I write this down too. Man.
Yeah. Who's gonna guard him? Caruso?
Apparently, it'll be
That's
Caruso
what
or Drummond.
My God. And I'll say that the Nets fall to the 3 seed.
I don't think that's really bold. 0.5 games. The Bucks.
Okay, then never mind.
It's not really good with these things.
We have to help them.
Facts. Yeah, it's facts.
Bro, just talking just to talk.
Niggas.
Oh my God. What else can I say?
Sure,
All right, Steph Curry 50-point game. There you go. That's bold. That's bold, I guess.
Here we go.
Bold, whatever. Okay. Will and Mo.
I'll go next. Bulls will hop into the play-in tourney this week. Yeah, that's right.
It's gonna happen.
Oklahoma City thought they were gonna draft Imani Bates in the next 2 years.
Oh my God! Don't even bother.
It's one long claim.
Blazers are gonna jump the Mavericks, and the Mavericks will also fall into the play-in tourney.
Yeah, I don't think Mavs gonna make the playoffs.
Wow.
Thank you. At least somebody else is smart in this video chat.
Wow.
Okay, so you got
done,
that.
Will?
Yeah, I got one more. It's about our favorite player, Jason Tatum. Tatum's gonna go off this week for 10 or less points.
Yep, I was gonna say that.
God dang it. Screw you.
Bro was 0 for 7 from 3 against the
Shut
Bulls,
that
bro.
up. Oh my God. God dang it.
3 for 15, 0 for 7 from 3 against the Bulls with a rookie guarding him most of the game, bro.
God dang it.
My God.
My guy,
I'm just
Patrick
feeling
Williams.
it. He's gonna go off this week. I'm just feeling it.
God dang it.
It's going crazy.
Okay, you done, Will?
Yes, sir.
All right, mine is. I'm going to go a lot of player statistics or player numbers this week.
Okay.
Vucevic is going to drop a 40 and 10 game. Patrick Williams, maybe the same game or a different game, will drop a 20 and 10 game. Okay.
Okay.
And then I say if Harden comes back, he will drop a triple-double his first game back if he comes back before the playoffs.
God damn. Man.
Well, yeah. So I think the playoffs or the last game is Sunday, right? Is that true?
That's bold. That is bold.
I think it's Sunday.
I think so.
It is Sunday.
We have a week left, right?
Yeah, exactly a week left.
The fantasy basketball championship is next week, and I'm playing in it, and Will and Muhammad are not in it. Just to let everybody know.
Bro, nobody cared. Okay.
Did anybody think with the injuries? I lost 3 of my top 5 players for the whole year.
I really lost all my best players, bro. Like, It's so simple.
Zach, you were the
Just wanna
only
let-
team in the league without a major injury.
That's fair.
I actually
That's
was
fair.
looking at that. I thought
That's
that was
fair.
hilarious because I
No.
thought Hayden
That is fair.
would be going off, but Hayden's not.
No respect.
No respect. I respect both, but I just wanted to let everybody know.
Just want to let
No,
you
nobody-
know. Can I just
Nobody
let
cares.
you? Let me just
Okay.
let you know of another score.
We do
Hey,
not.
maybe we should record a video of your
Oh,
one against
wait.
Will
Oh,
or
wait.
Prince and post on a podcast
Oh
on
wait,
social media.
would it be bold if I said that Steph won the scoring title? Is he
No.
leading? Okay,
It's
then.
literally,
Yeah.
leading in this.
Okay.
He's already in place to win it.
I know. I was just trying
Hey,
to
he
pile up
doesn't
my Steph
understand
picks.
that.
Just trying to pile up my Steph picks.
Zach, how about this score here? 342 to 214 in fantasy baseball.
Yeah, I'm
Me
getting
against
annihilated.
you.
I'm getting annihilated.
Let's
Bold take.
go.
Westbrook's going to be an all NBA selection.
Here's a bold take.
Wow.
Westbrook wins the scoring title.
Wow.
No, that's not even.
Damn. That happens, my God.
Bro, he-
I would retire.
He can score 100 points for the next like 3 games, and you still want to be in it.
I know he didn't score at all until like the
He's-
last fourth of the year.
He's I think he's averaging 21.9 right now.
Yeah, dude, he was doing nothing for the beginning.
Yeah, he was still coming off that quad injury.
He was letting it be Bradley Beal's team, and then he realized, oh wait, Bradley Beal can't get it done.
Oh wait, I'm the better player,
Oh yeah.
obviously.
All right. Well,
All right. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Looking forward to the,
Westbrook good, Steph Curry.
okay, whatever that means. Not true. Asinine takes,
Horma
but-
is terrible.
Appreciate everybody. Next week,
Where's
we're
the
wrapping
youth
up the
at?
regular season. Hit all the social media as usual: YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that. Appreciate another episode. See
Horma's
y'all
better
later.
in Bayern Munich.
Oh my gosh.
Peace.
Oh my gosh.
Yo,
Will, you funny as hell, Will. I swear.